obviously a lot of fun matchups there and a lot of storylines you can make for a lot of these games. But which matchup and storyline are you most excited for this season and this one? Do you guys want me to go first, or do you guys want to go first?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, go.
So mine, I guess being from the DC area, this kind of has a big thing. I have a lot of friends who are Commanders fans who haven't been Commanders fans for the last 5 years. Got pissed off when they changed the team name, all this stuff. But now they're relevant. They don't care about the team name anymore. They love their team all of a sudden because they're good. And they have this badass quarterback, Jaden Daniels. And I think it's cool. It's obviously a primetime game, a Monday night game, and at Kansas City. But you have Mahomes, who everyone, obviously has been the face of the league for as long as since he's been in the league, really. And then you have Jaden Daniels, who a lot of people are saying he is the up and coming new face of the league. Now, there is this battle for who's going to be the face of the league. I know that's the way they're going to kind of frame it when they do commercials for that Monday night game. Oh, Jaden Daniels, Mahomes, the new generation quarterback going up against each other. I think it's pretty cool from a historical standpoint. You have two guys who, are the faces of the league and, are African-American quarterbacks and, who are vying for that face of the league thing. I think it's really sweet and cool. Obviously, you have Lamar, Mahomes. You can make that argument for that, but Daniels is the younger version, right? And you have Mahomes and him, the kind of two young bucks and the two up-and-coming stars of the National Football League. And to have that on Monday Night Football, you have, the historical impacts of the Commanders and the Washington team and the Kansas City Chiefs playing on a Monday night game. And I think that's going to be a fun game to watch, to have two of these like new age, new era quarterbacks going off against each other on a primetime game on a national level. I think that's very fun, right? And obviously we don't play the NFC East often, so that's a standout game. It's not just we're playing Washington this year. They actually have a legit guy leading that franchise. And also too, Mahomes will be playing against his OG head coach from college too in that game too. So a lot of storylines in that one. So that'll be cool to see Mahomes and Jaden Daniels on Monday nights. That's the exciting game for me that I can't wait to watch.
Well, I tell you, for me, it's always Philly. It's always Philly. From a guy that played up there before, I understand what the culture is all about. I have a lot of friends that are still up there. I still get, I'm on the alumni list, right? So I get all the alumni stuff from Philadelphia and Kansas City. So for me, having friends and whatnot, it's always about Philadelphia. And then, of course, taking that L like we did in the Super Bowl, I think it's something that we got to swing first. And having them in Arrowhead, I think is probably one of the great things, right? Let's bring them over to our arena. Let's see how this thing is going to play out. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to decimate them immediately from the first time. All right? And they're still going to think, yeah, we beat them, pretty bad in the Super Bowl. It's going to be a little bit of this, but Andy's got a lot of history there, right? We know this. These two teams are locked in a lot of different ways, from players, from coaches, however you want to look at it. And so this is the second game of the season. This right here, everybody's going to be watching. They're going to see exactly how this game is going to play out. And guess what, man? We got some new fire for them jokers. We got some new fire. So I think, man, this is going to be a great game just to watch this. And it maybe play out how we're going to see in the Super Bowl. I'm thinking it's going to be another repeat between these two teams. So I think we got a little something for them for Philadelphia. But for me, it's definitely Philly, Marcus. I'll tell you.
I do think it's interesting for a Super Bowl rematch to be the second game. Usually that they make that game the first game of the season. But I think it's cool that so early on in the season too, where like that loss, while everyone always says, oh, it's a different season, I'm not thinking about that anymore. That's the second game of the season. Those guys are still thinking about that game. They'll be thinking about it week 9, but the fact that it's week 2, it's so close to when it happened, that loss happened, that is going to be a high stakes game for a lot of the guys on the team. It's going to be a very personal game for a lot of the players.
1,000%.
That's why I'm actually glad that the Brazil game's week 1, because otherwise it'd be like a trap game where they're looking ahead to the Eagles. But since it's the Brazil game, it's so immersive in like a new environment, you kind of can't separate yourself from that and look ahead because it's so different in its own stage, and it's week 1, so you can't really get caught looking ahead to the rematch of the Super Bowl. So it's good that it works out that way.
100%. Mm-hmm. Teja, what is your game you are most excited for?
I knew someone was going to pick the Eagles, so I was like, you know what? I'll stay away from the Eagles. Someone's going to pick the Eagles here. I'm going with the Bills week 9 because whoever loses this game will probably win the rematch in the playoffs. So just keep that in mind. It's also right before the bye, which is right before pretty much the midway point. So we get it's a good time to fine tune, tighten up for the second half of the season. And then right before, like I said earlier, right before the trade deadline. So it's one last way to see how you measure up against most likely the team you're going to have to beat in a rematch to get into the Super Bowl.
Lost your Tage. Your sound
You
went
can't
out.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Now we can hear you now. Yeah, we lost for a second.
So okay. You didn't hear what I said?
The last part.
Yeah.
I said it's a good way to fine tune and see how you stack up and measure against a team that you're probably going to have to face again in the playoffs to get into the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Bills Chiefs games are always the games to watch. So it's obviously always circled on the calendar. And like I mentioned, that's one of the teams of the playoff teams are playing that we actually have to go on the road for that game. So that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. I know I said the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl, but I'll tell you what, the Commanders are a very intriguing team. Them jokers, man, had them on the ropes. They beat them once last year, matter of fact. And so
yeah, but that was a game where Hurst ended up leaving the game. They had Kenny Pickett in there.
Hey, man, so it's how it all shakes up, man. It happens. Sometimes it happens that way. A win's a win, baby. That's how it works. So I think Jaden Daniels, man, is a smooth operator. So smooth operator. So I think, man, he's got a good cast around him. Commander's going to be a hard team to beat, man, in that East.
Yeah.
So Dallas too, man. They, when they got pick-ins and all of that, we see how it's going to work out. You have to see. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, NFC East is always an interesting division to watch. They're like the, I would say AFC West and AFC East are the most historical probably divisions, I would say, in the NFL. And those are always like the ones that they have, 4 teams that, you can make a case for all of them at some point in NFL history, right? Not so much so in the recent years for AFC West, as far as like, the Raiders in the last 20 years, being kind of a blip on the radar.
I mean, shoot, you got some heavy hitters in here. I mean, the first half and the second half too. Obviously, the guys that's going to be in our division that's always going to be rough, especially with the coaches they have now and the guys that they acquired in free agency and in the draft. It's not going to be just an easy ride. It's not. Everybody's gotten much better, but I think that what we've done is we up to the places that we needed to. Just to make us that much better than everybody else as well. So the first part of the schedule, obviously you're sitting over looking at Baltimore, Detroit, Washington, and Buffalo, right? And Philly. So that it's a rough stretch right there. First 9 games, man. We're gonna be hitting some folks in the mouth. So I think this is the one thing it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and fortify us for the second half coming through. So,
if you're a Chiefs fan, you don't live in KC. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to buy a Sunday ticket. And for everyone else that hates the Chiefs, buckle up because you're going to see us a lot. Get ready to hate. Get the hate tears are. They're definitely a lot more forgiving this season for the following reasons, though. We don't have to play 5 games in like 18 days, whatever that stupid stretch was last year. That was just crazy. The Brazil game, I love that it's week 1. We don't have to play 2 road games in a row, if you notice that, which is pretty interesting. And last year, I think we even had like a 2 or 3 game stretch. I think maybe even a 3 game stretch. It looks like we only have one really true short week where we play Washington on Monday Night Football and then the Bills, a normal game the following Sunday. There's another one that's close to that where we play the Jags Monday Night Football and then the following week Sunday night. But that's kind of, at least they're both night games, right? So we only have one true like short week. It's pretty well balanced. We have 6 playoff teams pre-bye, 5 playoff teams or games post-bye, And maybe my favorite thing, the week 10 bye is right before the trade deadline. So, which gives us an extra additional week to get someone acquainted in case we make a deal.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.